is where I'm going to be. And the question is, did Jesus ever, broaden that out. Does the Bible ever mention this place? Easily in view from the Mount of Olives, if you lived in Judah's Hill Country here, it was hard for you to travel anywhere in this interior without seeing it at some point. So it was a well-known landmark for all the reasons we mentioned. Round, towers, a 32-degree slope, right? Where's Paul? Where's Paul? 32-degree slope for whatever reason you want to call it. 32-degree slope, and a marble set of stairs. And we'll add in a little while a monument 70 foot tall that faced Jerusalem that was like Herod's tombstone. Sounds like a pizza thing, but anyway, facing north. So you might think, given all of that, you might think it would be mentioned in the Bible, and I think it is, but not by name. And it's mentioned in Matthew 21:18, which provides a lesson on prayer. Early in the morning, as Jesus was on his way back to the city, he was hungry. Let's go back to the Mount of Olives. Jesus is in Bethany. He's moving up that east slope of the Mount of Olives, going to cross over the saddle and go down into the city. This is Passion Week, right? So even though that particular reference is rather vague with geographic detail, because we know where Jesus was in Bethany and we know where he's going and we know where the road is, we can fill in the gaps, right? We know he's crossing the saddle up there at the Mount of Olives. So early in the morning, as Jesus was on his way back to the city, he was hungry, and seeing a fig tree by the road, he went up to it but found nothing on it except leaves. Well, we're coming into the time of Passover, the springtime of the year, and you're going to see fig trees that are starting their life cycle. Through the winter, through the fall and into the first of the winter months, fig trees look like old gray bones. They just have this whitish ashen look to them. But about February into early March, they show a little shoot of leaf that continues to grow, and with that leaf, the very first of the pre-season figs. There are multiple fig sets throughout the year. The pre-season fig that's called a page. Hence the name of the little village we talked about earlier today, Beit Page, house of the early season fig. So Jesus is making his way over the Mount of Olives and apparently hadn't had breakfast or was just feeling a little bit of that energy loss coming up the ridge. And so as he comes to the top, he sees in the distance a fig tree in leaf, and expectation should have page on it as well. So then he said to it, he's expecting fruit, doesn't find any. And he said to it, "May you never bear fruit again." And immediately the tree withered. That is a weird story, isn't it? It's like the Creator just uncreated. What is that about? Is he mad? Is he, why would he do such a thing? Because we don't have this sort of story other places in the story of Jesus. So we have to read on. When the disciples saw this, they were amazed. Oh, now I get it. They were amazed, really, is what we're supposed to say. Because what had they seen? They had seen Jesus heal people with lifelong illnesses. They had seen him take people who were disabled and heal them. They had seen him raise the dead. And he speaks to a fig tree, it withers, and they're like, I can't believe it. Can you believe what's happening? It's like it's the first day of class when it's the last day of class. We're into the last week of his life. And these guys are not getting it. They're like, wow, look at that. And the void that Jesus sees in their lives is, I can't have you with such low estimation of what you can do. Because amazement comes from the distance between what I've just seen and what I believe I can do. Yeah? Yeah? I'm amazed at things that I go, I don't think I could ever do that. So if I see somebody climbing a vertical pitch of rock and they're unaided and they're climbing, I am amazed because I don't think I could do that. If I see someone eating a bowl of cereal at the breakfast table, I am not amazed. Right? I'm not going to be amazed at something I can do. The point is, Jesus sees in them a gap between what they could do and what they believe they could do. And that's why he withered the fig tree. Jesus replied, truly I tell you, if you have faith and do not doubt, not only can you do what was done to the fig tree, but also you can say to this mountain, notice the demonstrative adjective, go throw yourself into the sea and it will be done. This mountain, I've studied Matthew's use of the word mountain, and it's very interesting. There's only one mountain, piece of rising terrain, he gives a proper name to. It's the Mount of Olives. Other than that, he uses descriptors. Very high mountain, this mountain. And you know, all language has this grand economy that if you don't have to say it, you don't. Unless you're that person who tells a story with all those details and it's just brutal to kind of listen through all the way through. But if you have something in view, you can say this mountain. So let's think about the criteria necessary for identifying the particular mountain in view. And it is a particular mountain, right? It's not just a mountain, it is this mountain. So it's very specifically being called out. Three things, right? Yes. One, it's got to be in view from the slopes of the Mount of Olives. Right? If you can't see it, then the disciples are not going to be able to respond to this mountain. So you've got to be able to see it. Secondly, it is distinctive in appearance. Because if you say this mountain from the Mount of Olives, pick one, right? You've got mountains everywhere. So it's got to be distinctive. What's distinctive? This place. It's in view, it's distinctive. Remember the roundness, the elevation, the shining marble steps that are going to extend north. Please, come right through. So it's got to be in view for the Mount of Olives. Two, it's got to be distinctive enough in an appearance that he doesn't have to add, no, not that one, that one. Right? And third, what if it had a history of being moved before? That would make it fairly quickly identifiable with that very little language, right? And remember, this mountain has had a chance to be moved before. We have Herod excavating the material off the adjacent hill to drape it in this. Paul,
32 degrees.
Oh, nailed it. It's like you're going to be my go-to guy here from now on. To drape it in this 32-degree slope, right? So, what other mountain could it be? Right? What other mountain could it be? Are you with me? You're buying this? You're buying this? So I think even though it's not labeled, it's just hard to think of another mountain that would fit the descriptors. Now, second step. What did that mountain represent for the disciples?